Didn't we just do this like 3 hours ago? Chicago Hockey Radio post-game show. Justin Lynch, Tassos Kirkos. First game in the post-Seth Jones era. Big win for the Hawks, 6-3 over the Anaheim Ducks. They take the season series 2-1, and they are now 12-3-1 in their last 16 games against Anaheim. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, please, please. Follow us on Instagram at Chicago Hockey Radio, and leave a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Helps us out a lot. Justin, you called it.
That's right. Hell yeah, I called it. I said on our CHR emergency pod when Seth Jones was traded. Man, it would be really funny if this team had a blowout win against this Anaheim Ducks team to follow that up. And that's exactly what they did. 6-3, basically 6-2. That third goal never happened as far as I'm concerned. You know, Chris Paul with a huge three there to cut the lead down to 42. Dominant win for the Blackhawks. I know it's the Anaheim Ducks and they suck, but it's like, hey, a win is a win. And this is a team that losing 5 games in a row the way that past week went. This was a game they desperately needed. A locker room that had been probably in more disarray they've been all season. Well, they got rid of the locker room cancer, and now we are undefeated in the post-Seth Jones era, this 2025 Blackhawks team. Man, the vibes out there just seemed immaculate, dude.
Yeah.
This team was playing confidence, just loose, you know, and just in sync. They're having fun out there. They were playing some fucking hockey, to quote Todd McClellan. Like, it was beautiful to witness, beautiful to watch. Another 6-goal game for the Hawks. I believe that's the third time they've hit that mark this year. And this time they score a lot of goals and they still win the game, right? Which didn't happen the last time we played. So no, definitely a game. We definitely good to see. You know, I think I kind of called this one too, not just today, but yesterday even when we did the Friday show. It's like this is a game you look at for the Hawks. That's like, you know, a game that they should have a nice morale victory against a bad Ducks team that is the only team in the league that scored less goals than we have. So you think it's a team that and again, it's also a team we've matched up really well against. As you said, we've kind of owned them in recent memory. So
Yeah.
Definitely a game I'm not surprised to see the Hawks come away with, but maybe a little surprised to see them come away with in the fashion that they did. They didn't just win tonight. They won in a very statement way, and I think we're all very happy to see it.
Yeah, just on one of your first points there, like the vibes definitely felt way up.
Yeah.
Like a lot of new guys in the lineup, a lot of guys that we haven't seen in the lineup for a while. You know, Reichel had a really good game.
Oh, he was so good.
I thought Wyatt Kaiser was outstanding tonight, but yeah, it's just like refreshing to watch. And you know, I don't know, it just seemed like a completely different team out there, which it's not. Obviously, they just subtracted one guy from the team, but
it made a hell of a difference, man. It looked a lot different. Yeah.
It really did. And I was looking at you know, just like looking at the box score, you know, it's like, man, you look at the 6 defensemen that were in the lineup and you're like, man, this could get ugly, you know?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
It didn't. It just was refreshing. There was a moment in the third period when Doc got that penalty, when Trouba hits Slaggert and everybody just like kind of comes to, you know, Frank Nazar gets in there and Colton Doc delivers a cross shot.
That was a hell of a line. Yeah. I love that Ice Dogs line of Doc, Nazar, Slaggert. Keep them together for sure. Yeah.
But I just like them like sticking up for one another and getting into it physically. You know, I thought it was an inspired group tonight. I thought they played really well, and yeah, great game, really good game.
They played like a team tonight. You know what they almost had? It almost looks like they had an identity out there tonight. You know, the effort was there. You can't question it for sure. You know, very refreshing to see, as you said. Amazing what happens when we don't put Lukas Reichel in the press box. He's been scratched the last few games. He comes back in. Statement game for Lukas Reichel. Goal and assist, multi-point effort. I've seen his name, you know, in talks and rumors. Do not, KD. Do not trade this guy. Don't make the same mistake again. How many first-round picks have the Hawks traded in recent years? Like, be patient, man. The fact that Reichel's, you know, he's had a pretty solid season considering the playing time he's had and the line mates he's, you know, been forced to play with. I think he's gotten as much out of himself as you could get. I think if you played this guy more in the top 6 with, I don't know, maybe guys like Bedard or Nazar, I think his game would take off even greater. So loved his game tonight. Looked so good. Definitely took those scratches personally. Yeah, no, keep Lukas Reichel. That's my message, because I figure with the Seth Jones trade, there's going to be more coming. I don't want to see his name in any trade.
Yeah. I don't disagree, honestly. I've, you know, painted him in some trades with some teams in my mind, and you know, if you're gonna hang on to, like, you should hang on to him for now, at least. Yeah. Like, give him some more runway.
Let him see his contract, right? I think it's a 2-year bridge deal. Like, see that out. And if this time next year in the same position, then you can move on.
Yeah. I agree with
Yeah,
that. I really do. I don't know. The first period was kind of a
boring.
snooze. Yeah, it was kind of a
Yeah, I
snooze.
was like, oh, this is how this game's gonna go.
Yeah, I didn't really think much of the first period. Kind of got a little loose in the second period, obviously with it being 3-2 Hawks after that one.
Yeah, the
Um,
game really picked up in the second. Like
mhm.
Wyatt Kaiser immediately sets a tone. That was a confident goal, man. He had a lot of runway there, and he took it. Great skater, and he's spent a lot of time in Rockford lately, but he looked like a different player tonight. Hopefully, it's not just a one game thing, right? I love the way he played tonight. 2 4s are greater than four. Who needs Seth when you have Wyatt Kaiser, right? He slots in on that D there, and he looked fantastic. May have been our best defenseman tonight. Not
I
just the
think he
goal. Like
was.
he was all over the place, man. He looked like a different player. So good to see from him. We have so many young defensemen like this, man, like Nolan Ellens and the Ethan Del Mastros and all the guys in Rockford. So it's like trading Seth Jones in the short term may make our defense worse, but the long term, identity is still looking very good here. Not to mention we got Korchinski and Levshinov and Rockford. Like we have so many guys. Allen now too. I think he was sent down. So there's a lot to look forward to in this D here. And you got Renzel in college. Might see him coming out of Minnesota. So no, I'm really looking forward to seeing what our future decor is going to look like, especially with Spencer Knight behind and Soda. That's going to be a hell of a tandem. So suddenly it's all coming together here. We got a potential franchise goalie. We hopefully have a franchise 1D and Artie Levshina. We have our franchise forward. I don't know, man. KD, man. Every time you start to doubt this guy, and that includes me, he reins you back in. And tonight, I know it's just one game, but games like today in periods of darkness that give you hope just reinforce the bright future this team has.
I so Katie spoke to the CHSN crew before the game started, and
He looked
talked
pretty happy.
talked about the trade a little bit, and just was like he's really high on Spencer Knight, and
Hmm.
just was saying technically sound, which he is, winner at all levels. This is a guy that, like, keep in mind, is still 23 years old and
Switching
was
goalie terms is young. That's like being a
yeah
19 or 20-year-old in player terms.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like this guy was a 13th overall pick in
Hmm.
in the draft, and keep in mind, like, Florida drafted him where they did, and then a week later signed Sergei Bobrovsky to the contract that they signed him to, which
Hmm.
was always kind of weird. It was like, for football terms, when they the opposite kind of, but the Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins this year and then
Yeah.
immediately drafted Michael Penix Jr. Um, almost like that a little bit, except, like I said, the opposite, but just
Or
like
it's
you,
kind of like sorry to cut you off, but like the
yeah,
Predators too. Like you already have UC Saros where they draft Yaroslav Skarv and obviously end up trading him to San Jose and they get their franchise goalie. This is what the situation reminds them. It's almost like KD looking at that and being like, well, we
yeah,
got to do something here because we don't have enough faith in, that Guyon struggled in college. Comesso has been up and down. As good of a season as Soda has had, we haven't seen enough from him where it's like that's going to be our guy, but maybe it could be a tandem guy. And I think with Spencer Knight, that could be a hell of a tandem. So, as long as he works out in one of those three guys, boom, like our goaltending is set.
yeah,
Suddenly it's figured out. So it's a hell of a move from KD there, right? Not just offloading Seth Jones and the majority of that contract, but getting Knight and the picks too. I know we already broke those trades down, but I think we could talk about a little more here. I think that's fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've been talking to some people about it. Yeah, and I'm really liking Spencer Knight coming to
Hmm.
this team
I'm
here.
excited. When's he gonna make his first start?
I don't
Monday,
know,
maybe
maybe
Wednesday, maybe the
Wednesday.
Midwest Coast Brewing game, Spencer Knight Hawks debut. That would make. They probably want to give him a few practices, right? They're not going to start him right away. So Wednesday probably logically makes sense, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it could be Monday. I don't know. Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it was just nice to get a win,
Mhm.
end the road trip with a win, get your first
Yeah,
win post Four Nations. Like, that one had kind of been weighing on the team a little bit. It was a good game, man. Really good. So Vlasic gets shifted back up to the top power play
that's
unit.
right. Yeah,
Martinez filled in on the second unit. Looked a little discombobulated at times. I know they cashed in on the 5-on-3. And they got
yeah. It's a
another
five
one.
on three. You
Yeah.
better score it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The
but I
second
think
unit got the
Vlasic.
earlier goal,
Mhm.
on the power play.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's got to adjust to it, but he'll be fine quarterbacking the top unit, I think.
I think Vlasic played his best hockey this year, that month where Seth Jones was injured, because he was in that first power play unit and he was forced to be the one defenseman on this team. So I think he could slide in that role and play fine for that perspective for the final 20 so games of the season. So I'm not really worried about that. Plus, we got some young defensemen to hopefully come up from Rockford. So Not worried about the defense the rest of the year. Like, is that a hole there on the offensive side of it? Yes, because this D doesn't really produce a ton of offense from the back end. But again, that's a short-term problem. In the long run, I think it's worth it. So, no, not concerned. I think Vlasic, strong game from him, and like to see a good rest of the season for him. Good year for him.
Can I give you a take before we do maybe some negatives or Ducks talk or anything like that?
What's that?
I would have that be Ryan Donato's last game as a Chicago Blackhawk.
His trade value is never going to get higher. I know there's a lot of folks that are
Never.
like, keep him. Like, I promise you, the hockey that Ryan Donato is playing right now is the best hockey he will ever play in his career. Screen record that, screenshot it, do what you got to do. Okay. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is the high point. This is the peak of Ryan Donato's hockey career.
Yep.
So it's like, if you can get, honestly, I don't even know, second rounder, you might be able to get. Am I crazy for thinking you might be able to get a first round pick for Ryan Donato the way he's
No.
playing? Is that a crazy thought? And if you can, you jump all over that. Could you imagine before this season speaking that type of language into existence? Like, you think I was crazy. So no, you had these guys of value. Look at the Seth Jones. Look at what he got. Different situations, yes, but even look at the return for Gustav Nyquist. Like, you're telling me that Donato can't get a better return from that. He's had a far better season. The market means something. All these trades have domino effects, right? So I think for Ryan Donato, a trade's probably likely. That's probably the next move for KD, right? And after that, who knows? There's probably not a lot of other guys. Maybe Connor Murphy. I don't know. Probably not a lot of other guys in this team who have value. Donato is really the last one. So, but curious to see where he goes and what the return looks like. But again, if you can't get that type of return, then you could keep him. Like, if we're talking third, fourth rounders, keep him. But second rounder, anything better than that, you trade him.
I don't think it's going to be that low of an offer for Donato because, you've got, and look, he may end up playing Monday and Wednesday before we get to Friday here. Especially like Greg Boysen kind of told us a little, like Donato's in that like second or third tier of guy, right? That you could acquire at the deadline. And so, maybe it's like a late push to move him. I just think you can pit a couple of these teams against one another and maybe even get a first round pick for him. Like,
I don't think it's crazy. I really don't.
If you throw in like one of the bums, Pat Maroon in there or Craig Smith or somebody like that.
Connor Murphy or somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd have to be a team with more cap space to add Murphy to the mix.
True.
But I totally think you can make it happen. If I were Kyle Davidson, I would not. All right. Do you want to do a couple of negatives? I have a couple of negatives.
Yeah, I think there's one negative. I'll just get out of the way because I imagine that's what you're going to get to. Yeah, 6 Blackhawks goals tonight, 5 the other night. That's 11 Hawks goals the last 2 nights. And fortunately, my boy, Connor Bedard, hasn't figured in on any of them.
Yeah.
We had everything perfect today. Today was a perfect day. Seth Jones traded, Patrick Kane Stadium Series goal, Blackhawks win, breaking the 5-game losing streak, force win out of the 4 nations. No Bedard point. Doesn't even matter. I'm just joking. Unfortunately for me, that's probably the only negative, but have to address it. But yeah, I mean, look, maybe it's not a great idea to play a guy who's played 5 games with the Hawks all year, hasn't been in a Hawks uniform since October, has been spent most of the season injured and playing on the Rockford Ice Hogs. Maybe that's not the guy you want pairing up with him in the first line if you're Anders Sorensen. Just a thought, that's line combination number 37 in 59 games this year. So it's not all on Connor, but at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, especially when you've had 5-on-3s and stuff, you would think he would have figured in on something. But yeah, I mean, that's 5 games now without a point. So that is unfortunately a negative. I thought this might be the game against a team that he's cooked that he get out of it. So that part of it, I was wrong. So yeah.
I didn't actually hate Athanasiou's game today. Like, he is just like so fast and
he's fast, but he can't finish.
No, he can't. But
you should get him on the Greek team this summer.
I've actually tried a little bit.
I think Anders Sorensen watched get him to the Greek movie and thought, oh, that's the guy who's going to save Bedard, but clearly that didn't work.
He's just Bedard. I mean, he just looks like he's forcing it a little bit. Like he's just feeling like, I mean, it's the same stuff we've said. Like, it feels like he's got to do too much even when they're up, and and then when they're up, like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna hunt for cookies a little bit, and it's just,
I will say this,
hockey a lot of times is just when you force it and you're squeezing the stick too tight, that's when it's not going to happen for you. And when you just sort of let the game come to you naturally, that's like when something like goes in off your shin, and then, everything you start firing towards the net like goes in. So I don't know. I get it with him, but at the same time, like, just play the game. you know?
Yeah, I would say though he did look more engaged tonight. Like I don't think that
Yeah.
was a problem. Like some games you could question, maybe he looked a little checked out or a little out of it. He was into the game tonight. He was getting involved in the forecheck, back check, paycheck. He was getting his looks, his chances. He was even getting physical a few times. Getting in the trenches. So I thought he looked good today. Just no points, unfortunately. Just fire the puck, man. Like you have this beautiful shot that you spend so much time working on, and yet you keep deferring to these mid teammates. Like, just fucking put the puck in there. Like, I know it sounds easy to say, but like, just do it, man. If Ryan Donato could do it, I think you can. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But games where Pat Maroon is scoring goals, he's fully capable of just taking over a play by himself. So, the line mates is one thing, and but it's again, he's a good enough player to make it happen on his own on occasion. So, I'm sure he will. Like, I think once he gets one, he's gonna snap out of this. I'm not really worried about that, but at the same time, it's not the first time he's gone through a drought this season. So, hopefully he learns from it, becomes a better player from it. And yeah, long run, I'm not worried, but short term, the longer this goes on, the more you do kind of, it becomes a little concerning. Yeah.
And I know plus minus is a bit of an outdated stat, but you win 6-3. Connor Bedard's a plus or a -2, and Tyler Bertuzzi's a -3.
Yeah, I mean, Bertuzzi has even worse plus minus. And man, I mean, at this rate, Teravainen's going to pass Bedard for the team points lead. I think he had another 3-point game for Teravainen. I think he has 46 now. Bedard has 49. So he's coming for him.
Not only that, but Teravainen has 32 points in his last 30 games. Like the guy has really turned it up.
Quietly been cooking. Say what you will about KD's offseason acquisitions. That has not been a bad one. Here's an idea. Oh my gosh, what a crazy idea. So Teravainen and Bedard played together in October. And if you look at the lines, that Foligno, Teravainen, Bedard line is the best combination he's had all season. Foligno's out right now, but maybe you pair your second, producer with your first producer. Maybe you pair Bedard with Teravainen. Holy jumping. What a crazy idea that is. Could you imagine? They've hardly played together this season. What are we doing here? Stop with the Andreas Athanasiou. Play Teravainen. Play Nazar. Play Reichel. Like, it's not that hard, Sorensen. How could I make better line combinations than you? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I hate to make such a big deal. Like, we won 6-3. Like, I should be happy, but that is one thing that pisses me off. It's like, it's not all on him, but like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
The only other negative I had was just getting outshot again.
That's par for the course.
They had 8 shots in the first, 8 shots in the second, 8 shots in the third. Got outshot every period.
Well, at least they're consistent. You can't say it wasn't a consistent 60-minute effort tonight, right? That's not something we've been able to say a lot this season. So a couple milestones tonight, too. I think TJ Brody, 300 career assists. Alex Martinez, 200 career assists. Yeah, exactly. Who cares? I don't know, but I thought I'd point those out. And Teravainen, 3-point game. Ryan Donato also had a 3-point game. So they were cooking tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I would not play Ryan Donato again until Friday. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's the high point, right? May as well close like that. I'm sure teams took notice. I'm sure there are plenty of scouts watching. So the trades that start happening today. So you imagine there's going to be a ripple effect, and we'll see more action tomorrow and the next upcoming week for sure. Yeah.
All right. You want to do some Ducks talk?
Sure. Yeah. Oh boy, they suck, man.
I have a couple of points here. Killorn, first of all, sneaky, greasy guy. Like, just a really threw that elbow to the head of Craig Smith, who luckily, like, for the Hawks, came back and, played out like another shift or two with that.
Yeah, jeez.
No penalty call, nothing. Just the refs didn't see it. Really sneaky elbow to the head. And, I don't know. I didn't like that.
How are the Ducks a 500 hockey team is my question. Like, they've scored the least amount of goals in the league, and yet somehow they're 500. How does that play out?
I have an answer for you.
Is it
Lucas Dostal?
Yeah, he wasn't in net tonight. It was John Gibson. I think it was just his first game back after a while, too. He definitely looked a little shaky. Definitely wasn't look like prime John Gibson tonight. Soderblom cleared him.
That is on my list for Ducks talk. Gibson was actually pretty good in the first period, and then was not very good the rest of the way.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is with him, because he's had an all right season playing on the Anaheim Ducks. But man, like, if you're going to get moved to a contender, you better hope it happens now. Otherwise, get ready to spend the rest of your career withering away in Anaheim.
Oof, yeah, Cam Fowler escaped, so I'm sure he's hoping he can escape too, but not looking like at the moment for him. I'd say another one positive for the Ducks, though. A guy who's had kind of a tough sophomore year, Leo Carlson had 2 goals tonight for them, so he looked more like himself. So I'd say that's a good thing. I'm sure they're happy about that. Zegras is out for them tonight, so they're probably missing him. Do wonder if he'll be a guy who's moved within the next week. Yeah.
My thing about I really enjoy Leo Carlson actually a lot as a
Yeah.
player. If I'm Greg Cronin, maybe I don't put him on the second power play unit. Like maybe I
The
have
first unit, yeah.
yeah, maybe I have Leo Carlson on the first unit
And
and
play him on the first line. He should
yeah.
be your 1C, not like
Yep.
Ryan Strome or whoever the 1C is. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, super weird. I just think you're stunting the development of a
Yeah.
kid that like honestly is like fantastic. Like if you're an Anaheim Ducks fan, like that's the guy that you have. That
You think he
like
could be like Anze Kopitar? Maybe not to that level, but like kind of a
I do.
prototype of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good two-way player. No, he's gonna be a special player in this league. I still want to take him over Adam Fantilli, but no, he's gonna have a hell of a career. Yeah.
I would might take him over Fantilli.
Really? Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah.
good, man. Like he's really good. I just yeah,
Fantilli reminds me of Tays. He reminds me of Kopitar. So I guess if you prefer Kopitar, you take Carlos. If you prefer Tays, take Fantilli. Yeah.
yeah. Man, I just like look at the Ducks though, and I'm like, that's where players go to die.
Yeah,
Like,
no, seriously. I mean, McTavish, that's another guy. Like so many guys in his team, the talent's there, but it's just they're not producing the level they can just because Cronin's system, it's just like kills any offense, any creativity, dude. It's like the Luke Richardson system, but even worse. Like it's just like it's painful to watch. Like the game got exciting, but like later in the game, because the Hawks are producing, but that first half of the game really put me to sleep, dude. Maybe it was just the West Coast time. I'm really looking forward to getting home and having, hockey games start at normal times.
yeah.
But geez, that Ducks team is just not fun to watch. Definitely, if the Hawks aren't playing the Ducks, I'm not watching them.
How about
Yeah.
Cutter Goche too? 10.5 minutes worth of ice time -3.
Yeah, no, he's not had a great year there.
No,
Probably would have worked better if he just stayed at Philly, but he really wanted to go to Anaheim for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
God, it's what a mistake. Like
He could have played with Michkov, who's like he had the most points coming out of his break. Like I don't know, that makes no sense to me.
I get it if you don't like Torts, but you're
Yeah.
not doing much better with Cronin there.
I'd
Honestly,
rather play for Torts than Cronin. At least he cares. At least he has passion. Like he pushes players hard, but like players who respond well play well under Torts. But players who don't really, there's a reason he was like I think in that pool, like the coach players at least like to play for. Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I
But Cronin's gonna be gone, right? You gotta think he's gone.
I
Sorensen
would
too.
I
Yeah,
would think so. I would
yeah.
think
Both
Cronin's
these
gone.
coaches gone. Yeah, for sure.
If not, it's Pat Verbeek being really stubborn, being as stubborn of a GM as he was a player.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for them. They gotta start, moving this thing along, and he's not a coach that does that. Yeah.
I have 2 more Ducks thoughts. One, I didn't really know a lot about Jackson Lacombe, but that kid has 11 goals this year as a defenseman.
That's saying a lot. He was impressive. They have a lot of solid young defensive prospects there. They got Zellweger, etc. Like so, no, they have the talent. The pieces are there. They just gotta utilize it properly.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Lacombe looked like I was looking at that. I don't watch a lot of Ducks hockey,
Yeah.
but I was just like looking at this kid and I was like, God, like
He was
incredible.
noticeable. Yeah, all night
Dude.
for sure.
He's really
no.
good. And they've got like Pavel Minchikov, who was a really high pick, and Zellweger didn't even play in this game. He was a healthy scratch,
That says a lot, man. How much young defensemen they have there.
Yeah, but like I don't know, just this kid that I don't really know a lot about is like their best dude. Like he's excellent. The other thing I will say, and this kind of like bleeds into like the game itself, but like for as bad as they are and how much of a place it is to die for young players, they really take on the mentality, I'll say, of their captain, Radko Gudas. Like they were throwing the body around. They were like, that's a physical team.
That was a gritty game. That was a chippy
Yeah.
game, more than you expect, from a Hawks Ducks game. But yeah, no, it was kind of old school. Yeah.
Did you see the arena was like super smoky to start the third period?
Yeah, what was the deal with that? Is something
don't know.
malfunction or like, yeah, that was odd.
I guess they had some pyrotechnics going on during the second intermission or something, but they came back for the third period. I was like, what is going on? Like I thought something was wrong with my computer screen, and then they mentioned it on the broadcast. I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one.
That's really, yeah, that was weird. Another random point, but I do kind of funny that the second that Seth Jones was traded, all the unks show up. Like Alec Martinez at 2 assists, like Craig Smith at a point, TJ Brody at a point, Pat Maroon, like all the unks showed out tonight. I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence, but I just found that really funny.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
probably like, oh wait, like we can be moved here. Like we should probably play like we have some value.
exactly right. Show some passion. Maybe somebody will take you, yeah, off your hands. If you want to get out of
Seriously.
here, you got to earn that, right? Yeah.
All right. You got anything else from this game? Soderblom was good. He was
Oh, he
good.
was good. No, he did what he had to do. 28 saves, 31 shots. No, he had a solid game. Maybe a second one he could have had back, but no. Otherwise, I thought no, he did his job. Another good game from him, which is par for the course. We do tend to play better in front of him versus Peter, and now it's probably going to be him and Knight. I'd imagine Peter's days at Blackhawk are probably gone. It wouldn't make sense to keep him at this stage. You're not going to have three goalies up here. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens if they waive him or if because I don't know if anybody's going to want Peter. Maybe future considerations. I don't know. Just his play, but find a way to move Peter, and then yeah, have just ride Soda Knight the rest of the year. That'll be a good tandem, and yeah, then Broswak could keep chilling in Cancun.
That seems like the big discussion now is like, okay,
Yeah,
you've got a suddenly crowded crease here that
yeah,
one way or another something's got to give, and you got to move on from somebody, and that somebody being Peter Mrazek pretty soon here.
yeah. We have three goalies, really four, but three. Yeah, so yeah, something's got to give. You're not going to ride three, so they'll find a way, I'm sure, to offload him. Yeah, KD will work his magic.
Yeah, I'm reading chat now, seeing if there's anything we can get here. Do we trade Brody and Martinez at the deadline and then call up
No,
Torch
but
and Artie?
it sounds great. If you think nobody wants Peter Mrazek, I guarantee you nobody wants TJ Brody.
Yeah,
Maybe
no.
Alec Martinez. Martinez is a cup champion. He still has some remnants of his game where it's like, okay, there's still something there. He could be a 6-7D in the playoffs. There is nobody who wants TJ Brody. You have to give up something else, like to sweeten the package if you're getting rid of him. Nobody wants that contract. Nobody wants that player. No, that's not happening. But I will say, I do think Kevin gets called up. Artie probably rides the year. Rockford maybe gets a few games at the end of the year just as a reward. A PR stunt move thing type of deal. But Kevin, I think there's no use being a Rockford for him. Like at this point, we traded Jones, call him up, just finish the year with the Hawks. Like, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of trade talk. I think everybody's kind of expecting that.
Oh,
And
there's more
obviously we
coming.
are. There's more coming.
Yeah, something big has came and something big will keep coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, not only do you have to sell, you have to sell Donato, you have to
Hmm.
sell whoever else you can. You got to buy somebody too. Like you
I
bought a
agree.
little bit with this
Yeah.
trade, Spencer Knight is a piece.
Hmm.
It's not just futures. Like Spencer Knight is currently an NHLer that
Hmm.
has a lot of runway for you. Go
Hmm.
get Dylan Cousins. Go get somebody.
Somebody for Bedard. Give my brother some help. No, I agree with you. Because and here's the thing, there's only so many. A lot of our young guys are already up here, right? So it's
Hmm.
like you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to buy somebody. You don't have to do it all in the offseason, right? You already got Knight. So yeah, I agree. If you could get somebody like that, I think that'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. I love that. Yeah.
So the other
Or-
thing
yeah.
too that I found out between the emergency pod and this is that first rounder from Florida is most likely going to be. It's like 90. So the reason it's a 2026 to a like potential 27 one is because the first rounder that the Panthers gave up this year in the Matthew Tkachuk deal when they acquired him is top 10 protected. So the Florida Panthers would essentially have to lose every single game the rest of the way and
Mhm.
land a top 10 pick for the Matthew Tkachuk deal pick to become a 26 one, which would then push the
Okay.
Hawks one to a 27 one. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
the Panthers are making the playoffs. That pick isn't going to be a top 10 pick. So Calgary's going to get it this year. And then I think that pick is going to be a 26 one for the Blackhawks
Okay,
next
I
year.
prefer it to be a 26, right, versus 27. Like, what are we doing here? But if it is a 27, then yeah, you better trade that thing because we're sure as hell not going to be positioned to use that, right? Because you don't have to use it. We have so much draft picks, like trade it for established pieces, right? Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Seems like everybody is on the sell, 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 sell train right now. Got to
Yeah,
get
I mean that's the
somebody.
move. Anybody of value, get them out of here. If anybody has a slight interest in, to get them out of here, make it work. Let's see a younger roster the rest of this year. We have all these college kids are going to be coming in too. Let's not forget about them. Rockford's there's only so many guys in Rockford at this stage, but we're going to get so many, those ELCs getting signed and things like that, and got a much more exciting young team the rest of this year and next. Yeah, looking forward to it. I saw this one tonight too, by the way, to get my prospect talk in.
Are they in a playoff spot currently?
They're around 500. I think in the AHL it's different. Like you have to be pretty bad to miss the playoffs in the AHL. So I think they're just about in it, but it's not a guarantee they make it though. Which again, considering how much talent they have, you'd think they would. But I think they should be in it.
Yeah. It would be better for them to make the playoffs than to not. So,
Get some of these young kids experience. Even some of these Hawks guys, you could send back down there for the Calder Cup, so they get some playoff time rather than doing nothing. So may as well. Yeah.
all right. You got anything else from this game?
No, not really. I mentioned multi-point games. Vlasic also had a multi-point game, so that was good to see. He will be our guy on defense for the rest of the season. So more games like that from that out of him, fantastic. I think more power play time. You'll be getting more of that offensive production as well that he had in that month of December. So good for him. I think this move is a good thing for Vlasic. He's hardly played with Jones this year anyway. So I know he did his rookie year, but this year he's been, he's played without Seth. He's played even better, honestly. So that tells you a lot right there. As for the Hawks, off tomorrow, we have our ECHL game. That should be a lot of fun. I'm glad this Jones, I said it before, but I'm glad this Jones trade happened today and not tomorrow. But I wonder if something else happened tomorrow. We'll see, or if it'll be during the week. But in regards to the Hawks, the next game I believe is against the Kings on Monday, and we're back home. Good to get back to the UC. Let's get a little,
Mm-hmm.
we went on a little win streak here. We haven't really seen much of that this year. I like to see that. And then Wednesday, yeah, we got our Midwest Coast Brewing live game. So yeah, let's go on a little run here before this trade deadline, right? March has already been a way better month. Haven't lost in the month of March. Haven't lost post Seth Jones era. So Hawks stock, man, is finally starting to rise here. And in the meanwhile, the Sharks lost again tonight. So yeah, I don't think we're abandoning being them in the tank race. So they can take their Schaefer, and we'll gladly take that second pick and take Misa. Yeah.
I like how you've managed to turn this into Hawks land. Michael Misa Holt, our minor league hockey correspondent, says 23 teams make the AHL playoffs. So I'm pretty sure that they are
They'll be in
right
it.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably be towards the bottom of that, but they should. They're good enough. They should be amongst those 23. They're better.
Holt, excited to see you tomorrow for the K-Wings game. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
excited to
fun.
see you, Holt. Yeah, appreciate you for hooking us up. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're
Got
gonna
to get up pretty early for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We got to get up super early here, so we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, please, please. Follow us on Instagram at Chicago Hockey Radio for both, and leave a 5-star rating and review. Pretty cool that our first bit of content for the month of March was our Seth Jones emergency show here.
What a month so far, man.
Yeah.
This is already better than February. That month sucked, especially as a US fan. It's like they would have come away with that. But anyway, next year.
Yeah. All right, subscribe. We will be back Monday. So Monday we have a podcast in the morning, and then the Kings game obviously later in the evening. And I'm gonna try and see if the two of you, Lee and myself and you, want to maybe stream the game too. Maybe it could be.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. So we'll just do all three. That
Do
man,
it all.
make it a threesome. Yeah, with the Hawks, not that anyway.
All right. We will see everybody Monday. Enjoy the day off tomorrow. Peace out.